Tonight, Canada mourns the victims of Flight 752.
You are not alone. Your entire country stands with you.
Grief, outrage, and calls for justice at vigils across the country and on the streets of Iran. The latest on the investigation, a Canadian exclusive with the man leading Ukraine's team. Also tonight, a rude awakening. How the Ontario government sent out a false alert about a nuclear emergency.
The next generation may not see a koala in the wild.
The Australian wildfires are killing off koalas. The Canadian trying to save them. This is The National. Today, in cities across this country, Canadians gathered to remember those killed in Wednesday's devastating crash in Iran. They're looking for comfort and for answers. So, too, are investigators trying to find out exactly why Iran shot that plane down. Tonight, we'll share new details of the probe into what happened, including a sit-down interview with the man leading Ukraine's investigators. We'll look at how the admission of guilt is sowing discontent on the streets of Tehran. But we begin here at home, where Canadians are paying respects and saying goodbye to those who died. Among those paying tribute today, the Prime Minister. He attended the large vigil in Edmonton, where he called on Canadians to support those affected by the disaster and on Iran to provide them with justice. Ashley Burke begins our coverage tonight.
Lonely, but you are not alone.
A Prime Minister speaking directly to the families of victims and a nation in mourning.
Your entire country stands with you tonight, tomorrow, and in all the years to come.
At times visibly emotional, he told stories of families he's met in recent days.
A husband who'd lost his wife and son. A vibrant 10-year-old who was confident he'd one day be Prime Minister of this country he loved so much.
He wants answers for them, and on that front, some progress. 3 Canadian consular officials are now in Iran. 6 more will join them Monday, including 2 Transportation Safety Board investigators. A second team specializing in black box recorders will follow.
They're going to be very leery about what sort of access we get.
Canada's last head of mission in Iran remains skeptical over if they'll have an active role in the investigation.
I don't think they're going to be overly cooperative on that. They're also a very secretive society. They're distrustful. They will assume that the Canadians have put a couple of spies in on the team. These are all the sorts of things that are the default mode for the regime.
Also this weekend, the Prime Minister held a phone call with the Iranian president, a rare conversation between 2 leaders whose countries have no diplomatic ties. Trudeau made a direct request to fully participate in the investigation.
I want to assure all families and all Canadians, we will not rest until there are answers. We will not rest until there is justice and accountability.
The priority right now is supporting families identifying loved ones in hopes of bringing them home. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
And Canadians in other cities also took the time to pay their respects today. Most of the victims were from the Toronto region, where there's a large and thriving Iranian-Canadian community. As Ellen Morrow tells us, for some, grief is turning to anger.
Dr. Parisa Iqbalian, age 42, and Rira Ismaili, age 9.
One after the other, names read out a litany of the lost.
The couple traveled to Iran to get married and celebrate with their family and friends there.
The hundreds there to honor them, struggling to contain their grief.
I empathize with how many people are gonna go to sleep hopeless, can't see how their future is gonna be shaped.
Terrible. I don't think I can put it into words.
Armita Sheikhi's cousin, Pedram Jadidi, was visiting his mother in Iran, marking the first anniversary of his father's death. The family now once again plunged into heartbreak.
They're devastated. It's just the way that he died. It makes it all so much worse.
The day after Iran admitted it shot down the plane, sorrow for some is giving way to anger.
The fact that they got shot by the country, by the government, is even more painful. I don't know how to explain my anger.
Hey, hey,
This protest was held just hours after the vigil, outrage over the loss of life and at the Iranian regime.
We are looking to see the down with this government and see the freedom for the people in Iran.
Relatives of the dead are seeking closure, though it may never come.
Shakiba Faqahati, age 39, and her adorable son, Rastin Moqaddam.
With so many lives ended, so many loved ones left behind, and a nation in mourning. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
The sorrow and anger all the more difficult because the remains of their loved ones are out of reach for now. And despite Iran's admission that the plane was downed by its own missile, allegedly by accident, it's still not clear what exactly happened. Ukraine has been leading efforts to get answers and now has nearly 50 people at the crash site. Our Chris Brown spoke one-on-one with the official leading that investigation.
The image quality isn't great, but this is likely the last photo of the Ukrainian crew of Flight 752. It was taken in a hotel in Tehran just before they all headed to the airport for their final doomed flight. Their Boeing 737-800 was shot down less than 3 minutes after takeoff in what Iran says was a case of mistaken identity. Alexei Danilov, the Ukrainian president's point man for the crash investigation, told us it took his team just 3 hours to conclude a missile brought down the aircraft, but they held off saying so to preserve their relationship with the Iranians. He says they believe the missile struck the cockpit from below. We now understand that the death of the cockpit crew was instant, unfortunately. Then, right in the middle of our interview, Danilov excuses himself to take an urgent phone call. It's President Volodymyr Zelensky himself inquiring about the status of Canadian investigators heading to Iran. When the interview resumes, Danilov says the overriding question now is how did that missile end up being launched? Why did they make such a decision? Was this a technical mistake, a human mistake, or something else? This Ukrainian flight training expert says radar systems can clearly distinguish between a small cruise missile and a large passenger jet, so the problem could be a poorly trained operator.
If they lack training, they can incorrectly identify the targets and incorrectly act in certain situations.
At the memorial for crash victims at Kyiv's airport, many people shared their outrage that so many could have died this way, while others, such as Helena Tilniuk and her husband Nazar, said they just felt so profoundly sad.
The only thing is I would like to hug every mother of everyone who died. It takes a lot to survive such a big tragedy. I'm sorry we didn't say thank you to the crew when maybe we were flying with them.
Ukraine has 45 investigators on the ground, and they're sending data and photos back to another group in Kyiv. Like Danilov, they've barely slept in 4 days, but he believes the emotionally grueling investigation will uncover the truth. Chris Brown, CBC News, Kyiv.
For 2 days now, Iranians have been expressing blunt public anger against their government for shooting down Flight 752 and killing so many of its own people. Margaret Evans shows us their defiance and how the regime is responding.
This was Tehran this evening. Video posted on social media showing tear gas and apparently rubber bullets doing their job, sending demonstrators against the regime fleeing. The protests began in daylight. Students at a university refusing to step on Israeli and American flags. Their chant that the enemy lies not in America, but within. Even a pro-government newspaper ran a one-word headline, "Unforgivable," along with the names of the victims. But the regime is also holding its line. At the Iranian parliament, there were expressions of regret for what happened, but not for the lie the government tried to sell for 3 days. I don't think there was any intention at a cover-up, says this parliamentarian. You have seen such aerial accidents happening and only finding out the cause months later. But a member of Iran's Revolutionary Guard has already said authorities knew on Wednesday that a missile hit the plane, further enraging protesters.
They've really shot themselves in the foot by not wanting to own up to it.
Now on the defensive, analysts fear the regime will crack down on dissent harder than ever.
Now it's going to become even more difficult to mobilize against the regime.
The one demonstration officials did allow today was against Britain's presence in Iran. Its ambassador, who was briefly detained, accused of siding with anti-government protesters. It's also possible that we'll see increased activity from Iran's proxy forces in the region to deflect from what's going on at home. Tonight, 8 missiles landed at an Iraqi airbase that hosts U.S. troops and trainers. And here in Lebanon, Iran's ally Hezbollah is again warning that revenge for Qasem Soleimani's death is still to come. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Beirut.
In Washington, there are new questions about the U.S. president's justification for assassinating the general. As Paul Hunter reports, today Donald Trump's point man in Iran had to parse his boss's words pretty carefully to set the record straight.
I'm not going to discuss intelligence. What the president said was he believed it probably could have been. He didn't cite intelligence.
Mark Esper, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, today trying to clarify what exactly led to the U.S. strike on senior Iranian General Qasem Soleimani 9 days ago that's led to so much fallout in the Middle East. The U.S. has said Soleimani was planning an imminent attack against American interests, so he had to be killed. On Friday, speaking to Fox News, Donald Trump put it this way.
I can reveal that I believe it would have been 4 embassies, but Baghdad certainly would have been the lead, but I think it would have been 4 embassies, could have been military bases, could have been a lot of other things too. But it was imminent, and then all of a sudden, he was gone.
Critics, among them U.S. lawmakers, including at least one Republican, want details. And as tensions over all of it continue to simmer in Iran, Esper was today pressed on Trump's comments and whether indeed there was tangible intelligence of a specific threat against 4 U.S. embassies.
Well, the president didn't say there was a tangible, he didn't cite a specific piece of evidence. What he said is he believed.
Are you saying there wasn't one?
I didn't see one with regard to 4 embassies.
The farthest Esper seemed willing to go was that, having seen whatever the president saw, he believes attacks were likely.
Trump, meanwhile, today turned his attention to those latest protests in Iran over the shooting down of that jetliner, tweeting a warning to the Iranian leadership. "Do not kill your protesters," he wrote. "The USA is watching." Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
With the story as complex as this, there's still many questions to be answered. Why did Iran suddenly change its explanation this weekend? Where does the investigation go next? We'll get expert insight on those questions and more a little later on The National. Well, many of you in Ontario may have been jolted awake by an emergency alert on your phones this morning, a warning of an incident at a nuclear power plant near Toronto. Now, it turns out that was a mistake, but it took a while to get that message across. At 7:24 a.m., a government alert was issued province-wide. Ontario Power Generation, which manages the plant in Pickering, tweeted that it was a mistake. That was 40 minutes later. The Premier's office confirmed that to CBC News shortly after, but many were left worrying for nearly 2 hours because the official all clear didn't come until 9:12 a.m. Lisa Xing tells us what went wrong.
That jarring sound, commonly associated with an Amber Alert, meant something else this morning. It was a message from the Ontario government about the Pickering nuclear station, a report of an incident there that did not involve an abnormal release of radioactivity, but affected residents within 10 kilometers.
I told my wife, we better leave, and it's better to listen to the news when we are out than not when we are here, because everybody's going to try to leave at the same time.
Fail-safe mechanisms.
Officials were caught off guard too. In a real emergency, they would have been notified.
We did not receive a call to our duty officer. We did not receive a call to the supervisors. And that's where we started to identify that this was probably sent in error.
I'm very frustrated, as we all are. I mean, this should not have happened.
The alert was sent from inside this building where the Ontario Emergency Operations Centre is located. It coordinates emergency responses across the province. Officials tell us someone accidentally sent the alert during a routine test of the system. Ontario's Solicitor General is responsible for that system.
I apologize to the people of Ontario. I'm sure it was very jarring for many families to wake up to that emergency alert and then to subsequently find out that, in fact, there was no threat ever.
This afternoon, the province announced a full investigation into the incident. For some Pickering residents, that's not good enough.
It is a little bit upsetting afterwards that the message came out afterwards that it was sent out in error. You're like, whew. It should have been quicker telling us that it was an error.
I was kind of irritated because that's a big mistake.
The province is promising to make any changes to prevent another false alarm, but for some residents, their trust has been shaken. Lisa Sheng, CBC News, Pickering, Ontario.
In the event of a real emergency, the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission says there are detailed plans for residents living nearby. They're supplied with potassium iodide pills. And this morning, some people in the Pickering area were wondering if they should take theirs. Those pills can reduce the threat of thyroid cancer. A nuclear accident produces radioactive iodine, which is naturally absorbed by the thyroid. So taking the pills saturates the gland so it can't absorb it. But people are advised not to take them until directed to by health authorities. Among the other stories we're watching tonight, 140,000 homes and businesses in Quebec were left without power this morning after the province's first major storm of the season. High winds and heavy snow made for whiteout conditions in some parts of the province, causing road closures and knocking down some hydro lines. In other areas, it was freezing rain that was the problem, making driving and walking treacherous. Hydro-Quebec says everyone's power should be back by midday tomorrow. On the eve of a royal showdown over the future of Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex, the Queen attended church. The 93-year-old monarch is at her Sandringham estate, where tomorrow's family meeting will take place. This will be the first time since she's seen Harry, since he and Meghan announced their decision to step back as senior royals. His father, Prince Charles, and his brother William will also be at the meeting. New Zealand police say another person has died after being caught in that volcano last month. He's the 18th person confirmed to have died. Most were tourists visiting Whakaari White Island. The latest victim died in an Australian hospital. 2 people remain unaccounted for. And several thousand people in the Philippines on the move tonight, and lots of flights have been disrupted, all because of a potential volcanic explosion. One of the country's most active is rumbling and spewing a massive cloud of ash. Anita Bath has the story.
A rare sight, volcanic lightning offering a glimpse at the thick plume filling the air. Up to 10,000 people forced from their homes, and low visibility in ash led to dozens of cancellations at Manila's International Airport. The Taal volcano eruption has blasted steam, ash, and rock, covering area 15 kilometers away. This volcanologist says things could get much worse.
If it continues, we could start to transition into a purely magmatic, so really just the magma underneath that's driving this erupting out and sending much larger volumes of ash into the air.
Following the eruption, several minor earthquakes, with more expected. But some refused to let a giant cloud rain on their big day. Nearly 60 kilometers south of Manila on the island of Luzon, Taal is among 24 active volcanoes in the Philippines alone, and one of many in the Pacific Ring of Fire. But Taal has some distinctive characteristics.
Almost like a Russian doll, we have a volcanic island, which is just the tip of a volcano sitting within a huge lake, about 25 by 30 kilometers. And that lake itself is within a much bigger volcano, what we call a caldera.
There are no reports of deaths or injuries, but breathing in volcanic ash is dangerous, so evacuees wear masks and goggles for safety.
How long they will be out of their homes is sort of anyone's guess right now. Each volcano has its own personality.
Its own unpredictable personality. Anita Bath, CBC News, Vancouver.
China's authoritarian government got a lesson in democracy this weekend, courtesy of the voters in Taiwan. Despite ruthless pressure and threats from Beijing, Taiwan re-elected its independence-leaning president by a landslide and then took to the streets to celebrate. Our Sasha Petrusik was there.
The excitement grew along with the numbers, a margin of victory bigger than ever in Taiwan for President Tsai Ing-wen carrying huge expectations. Young people here especially, trusting her now to stand up to Beijing as she promised.
We are not afraid of China. Our president will protect us.
In victory, Tsai herself sounded confident. I urge Beijing to develop a peaceful and equal relationship with Taiwan, she said, though over the past 4 years, it's been anything but, with relentless pressure from China, economic measures, diplomatic isolation, and military maneuvers, all hemming in the self-governed island. Chinese President Xi Jinping made it clear he considers Taiwan China's territory, to be reunited by force if necessary. But as Tsai and her party's candidates campaigned, it was that menacing image of China, including how it's treated Hong Kong's pro-democracy protesters, that boosted Tsai's support most. It was a stark contrast to her main opponent, Han Guiyou, who embraced closer economic ties with China. On the streets, public opinion was sharply divided. I'm Taiwanese, not Chinese. China's bullying us, he says. I just don't feel that threat, she answers. China now has to deal with Taiwan's re-energized independence streak, but there's no sign Beijing plans to change its approach. On Sunday, a Chinese government spokesman said reunification cannot be stopped. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Taipei.
More news ahead on The National. 10 years ago, they found a new life in Canada after the earthquake in Haiti.
It still feels like it's yesterday sometimes.
And as wildfires burn in Australia, the Canadian fighting to save the koalas.
Every single koala we can save is vital.
Plus, what if you could access Flight 752's black box instantly from anywhere in the world? The Canadian technology exists. And then this is the antenna.
This is the antenna.
We're back in 2 minutes. Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse marked the 10th anniversary of the country's devastating earthquake, laying a wreath at a memorial to the more than 200,000 dead. But his presence infuriated some. Loved ones of the victims trashed Moïse's wreath, angry over the lack of progress his government has made in trying to rebuild the country. A ceremony was also held in Montreal, home of one of the largest communities of Haitian immigrants. 58 Canadians died in the earthquake. The province of Quebec took in 4,500 refugees. Among them, 8 siblings who lost their parents and went to live with relatives in Montreal. Alison Northcott now with their story of resilience.
It's been 10 years since Adele Poyo first walked through that door at her aunt and uncle's Montreal home along with her 7 siblings, not long after they survived the earthquake in Haiti that killed their parents. Their cousin Thierry was a medical student working in Haiti and was instrumental in getting them out of the country and bringing them here.
There were a lot of death everywhere, and so to take them away from that was a good thing. And then I think it was good for everyone to be together.
Here they are not long after they arrived. The youngest, Adriano, broke his leg in the earthquake. Since then, they've navigated school, Canadian winters, started careers.
The first thing was the cold and the house. It's not really the same thing from back there.
I lived more in Canada, more than 80. Like 10 years here is a lot.
These 5 now live together in an apartment. Renata, just 21 when it happened, is like a mother to her siblings.
On reste ensemble, puis on travaille plus fort, puis parce que nous, tout le monde a des rêves, puis un jour, tôt ou tard, on va les réaliser.
Renata went to cooking school, started a catering business and dreams of opening a restaurant. Her younger sister, Adele, is now a nurse.
Ça me motive à aller plus loin, tu vois, à travailler plus fort pour ma famille, pour moi. Pour mes parents, tu vois, comme que ma famille soit fière de moi, comme soit fière du choix qu'ils ont fait de nous amener ici.
Still, there are hard moments.
It still feels like it's yesterday sometimes. I love my mom and dad so much that I still can't believe that there's still an 80 somewhere.
Jean-Alix sees his job managing this A&W franchise owned by his cousins as an opportunity to learn. He hopes one day to open another one with them. Through everything, the siblings say the family support has been unwavering.
Because when we're together, we're stronger.
Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
When we come back, is it time to upgrade the black box?
We've got the technology. The technology exists for black box in the cloud.
It's the key to any crash investigation, but locating it can be a major hurdle. Up next, the new technology that could change that.
We find the defendant not liable.
The first case of our new firm and we lose.
Well, things can only get better.
We're okay financially, right? We need a new case, Billy.
Where are you taking them?
Family Services seek custody of the children.
There were drugs in the house, Joanna.
Someone is setting her up. We won't stop until we get your kids back. Are you in this with me?
Back now to our top story. Canada's Transportation Safety Board said today that it has obtained visas for 2 of its investigators to enter Iran. They've been waiting in Turkey and will leave for Tehran tomorrow. International investigators are already familiar with a situation like this. Back in 2014, Malaysian flight MH17 was shot out of the sky over eastern Ukraine. Now, in both cases, planes were taken down by missiles. Commercial airlines were flying in a region fraught with tension. And then, as now, there were concerns the country responsible would take steps to withhold facts. And joining us from New York is Michael Bosserque, a Canadian global affairs analyst. He was a monitor for the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe at the site of the MH17 crash. Now, Michael, one big difference here, of course, is that Iran has taken responsibility. Did take them a few days, but why do you think they've come forward and said, yes, we did this?
Clearly, they were feeling boxed in. There was a lot of satellite data that was collected. There was a lot of radar tracking data that Western intelligence had collected. But they also, I have learned today, that Ukrainian investigators collected a heck of a lot of evidence, irrefutable evidence that they had sent back home. Things like pictures of the fuselage, which showed almost bullet-like holes from that are characteristic of that Russian missile that brought down the plane. Also, the condition of the cockpit. So, telltale signs that it was a missile. And then above and beyond all of that, you had a lot of citizen journalism going on, people uploading videos and photos on social media. So there was very little wiggle room for the Iranians to deny that it was a missile. And I think, at the end of the day, it's good that they admitted to doing it.
Drawing on your experience again from MH17, the families here. I mean, we know the big cause, the missile, but I guess they still will have a lot of questions about exactly what happened.
They will, and drawing from our experience with MH17, what the relatives really want to know is who actually gave the command to fire that missile that brought down that airplane with 298 souls. We do know that the missile in the MH17 case came from Russia, was fired from a Russian rebel-controlled field, and then that missile was returned. So the big question for, I think, relatives from Canada and elsewhere will be, how did this happen? Who gave the command? And most importantly, at the end of the day, how can this be avoided in the future?
So, speaking to that issue, Ukraine International Airlines, as I understand it, has said it won't be changing procedures in terms of its decision to fly in these kinds of conditions. What's your reaction to that?
I'm absolutely flabbergasted by that statement. I have flown them a lot. I'm not so sure I'm going to fly them again. They really have to reevaluate their practices. They do fly to a lot of dodgy places, if you will, where there is some sort of conflict. So, look, at the end of the day, that pilot could have decided not to fly. There's no excuse for him not to have the information that the risk level was that high. But sometimes, airlines and Ukrainian International, we know, is under financial pressure. Sometimes they cut corners and allow those flights to go. And that was the wrong decision to make in this particular case.
Michael Bosserque in New York, thank you very much for speaking with us.
My pleasure.
Also today from Canada's Transportation Safety Board, it's deploying a second team of investigators, one that specializes in downloading and analyzing data from flight recorders. Those black boxes have been contentious. Iran had first refused to release them, but now says it will send them to France for inspection. Ukraine was pushing to have them examined on its own soil, but consider this. Right here in Canada, there's technology for flight information to be streamed live without needing black boxes at all. I went to Calgary to see how it works. It has been a key part of air crash investigations for generations, retrieving those so-called black boxes to try to piece together what happened in a flight's final few minutes. Those two recorders tracking literally thousands of flight parameters and the voices and sounds from the cockpit. But none of that matters if you can't find them. In the almost 6 years after it disappeared, only a few pieces of MH370 have been located. With no black boxes, what happened remains one of aviation's great mysteries. It's a different issue with Flight 752. For 3 days, Iran was threatening to withhold the black boxes, invaluable information for investigators, even if a plane is shot down.
The black boxes are always an essential element to any investigation, whether it's shot down or whether it's a mechanical thing. What happened when the missile hit the airplane? What systems were affected? Why did it make it unflyable? Exactly why was it made unflyable?
Catastrophes like these are a reminder of just how in this streaming age we're still relying on an old concept, trying to find a couple of sturdy metal boxes.
If there is an abnormal event in flight, AFIRS alerts the airline, then transmits black box data to airline operations in real time, or for analysis after the event if the black box is not recovered.
A company in Calgary is trying to address that. Flight has been working on bringing the retrieval of black box data into the tech era. And then this is the antenna.
This is the antenna. Yeah.
The concept seems simple enough. The data that goes into the onboard recorders would also be transmitted through this box and antenna. All of that information sent via satellite to the airline's operations center.
We've got the technology. The technology exists for black box in the cloud. The network capacity exists. The systems on the aircraft exist. Our product today can support it.
Currently, Canadian North is the only airline in Canada using the system. On its remote routes, the airline's operations center can instantly monitor any problems, even on an otherwise routine flight.
When the aircraft is in distress, the pilot or the system can make that determination, and we start streaming the data. We have access to all the data that is being recorded on the black box, and so that's going to be all the performance indicators from the engine, from the flight control systems, everything that is recorded on the aircraft.
Keep in mind, crashes are rare. Crashes where the black boxes aren't retrievable, rarer still. While Flight won't say how much the virtual black boxes cost, it appears to be an expense that major airlines aren't yet ready to pay for. Flight's sales pitch to those airlines is that the system is useful on routine flights by, for example, continuously monitoring their engines for maintenance issues. That data sent during every moment of the flight. And then, of course, if things were to go wrong.
In a situation where that aircraft, unfortunately, is down in water, obviously that creates significant challenges and delays in the recovery efforts of the black box. Or in an unfortunate situation where you've got states that aren't going to participate in the international community to recover and make available that data, having it in real time.
The International Civil Aviation Organization is working on guidelines right now for what it calls the timely recovery of aircraft data. And that Calgary company hopes it might encourage airlines around the world to buy into their concept of streaming black boxes. That so many lost their lives so quickly remains one of the most devastating aspects of this tragedy. 57 Canadians gone in an instant, holes in families that will never be filled. The Arcelani family of Ajax, Ontario paid a terrible price. 3 family members in Iran to attend a wedding all died in the crash. And tonight they're remembered by one of their own.
My name is Omid Arcelani. I'm the older brother of Avin Arcelani. And her husband Hiwa Molani and my niece Cordia Molani. We are 3 siblings. She's the youngest. She just turned 30 years old on January 2nd of 2020. But my sister loved Cordia more than herself. And she wasn't able to talk yet. She knew a few words and she gave me a name. She used to call me Yaya. That was my name with her. And then every time I'd be on the phone, my sister would say, "You want to talk to Uncle Yaya?" I'd say, "Mm-hmm." She used to, "Mm-hmm." That was the best, the sweetest sound. Yeah. My sister Aveen went to Iran for a wedding. That was my brother-in-law's brother, and also see my family members. My father lives in Iran, and he hadn't seen the Kurdia in person. And also the rest of the family and my brother-in-laws, also they were really excited to see her. And Aveen was really sweet, the sweetest you could find. Caring, kind. Her husband, Hiwa, was so in love with my sister. We used to say he was the carpet that she walks on. Her house is in Ajax. I don't have the heart to go there. I don't know what to do with her belongings, everything she has. So the last message she sent me was 2 days ago in the morning. And the message, it says, "How does it feel to have a brother? Only a brother can love you like your father, bug you like a sister, and be worried for you like a mom, and be behind your back like a friend." And it says, "If you love your brother, send this to him." And this was the last thing she sent to me. This was Tuesday morning. I just had my daughter on Christmas Eve, and this was my biggest thing, that they're gonna be little sisters together. Cordia's gonna be her older sister. My son is keep telling me, let's go to Cordia's house, let's go to Cordia's house. He has no idea what's happened. He doesn't know he's never gonna see them again. All I could say is I hope this doesn't happen to any other family. I will never see my baby sister again. It feels like my heart will never heal. It's sad to lose anybody, especially your younger sister, especially losing your niece and your brother-in-law, all of them at the same time.
If you want to learn more about Canada's victims of Flight 752, you can visit CBC's special online interactive page. Find out where they're from, what they did for a living, and you can read moving tributes from family and friends across Canada. Just go to cbcnews.ca/flight752. Time for a quick break. Up next, we'll turn to the wildfires in Australia.
The next generation may not see a koala in the wild.
The Canadian on the ground trying to save koalas injured by the flames. We'll be right back.
The future. How far can we see?
A symposium of the minds.
Something nefarious is going on.
Becomes a disappearing act.
We searched every room.
And Murdoch is in the thick of it. The 200th episode of Murdoch Mysteries, Monday at 8 Eastern on CBC and CBC Gem.
Great news!
What's going on?
Dish. All new episodes of Kim's Convenience.
Final answer.
I brought you something. Wow.
Jim, we already have.
I can return it. Maybe not now. Beep, boop, beep, boop, pew, pew.
Honk, honk.
I was a teacher back in Korea, but here, people think I'm just a shopkeeper.
I know. People just see me as a cleaning lady.
Yeah, you're also good cook, good mommy.
And an excellent ultrasound technician.
Yeah.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's Daily News podcast Front Burner, Megxit. What Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's announcement means for the future of the British monarchy and what Canada has to do with it. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll take a look at this. New satellite images of some of the Australian wildfires burning near New South Wales town of Eden. Tonight, as crews say the weather is giving them the upper hand, Prime Minister Scott Morrison is responding to the criticism of his government's response to the fires.
I think there's obviously a need for a national review of the response. And let's not forget, they're not finished yet.
During an interview with Australia's public broadcaster, Morrison also attempted to answer protesters who turned out by the thousands on Friday.
What I'm saying is we want to reduce emissions and do the best job we possibly can and get better and better and better at it.
And wildlife officials are doing the best they can, feeding animals which would normally feed off the vegetation, like this endangered brush-tailed rock wallaby, chowing down on some of the sweet potatoes and carrots delivered airmail. But the fires have taken a tragic toll on Australian wildlife. Some experts estimate as much as a third of the country's koalas have perished. David Common met up with a Canadian trying to save as many as possible.
Patu is something of a miracle. Nearly a year old and still living with his mom, Isla, who is recovering from burns suffered in a wildfire.
Koalas don't flee from danger generally. If they're already on the ground, they will, but it's their instinct to climb up to get away from danger. But then once they go to climb down the tree, they'll get contact burns from the tree still being hot.
Amber Lilly is a Canadian living here, now a critical lifeline in saving injured koalas, and deeply worried about how many have died in this season's wildfires.
It's going to be that bad that the next generation may not see a koala in the wild.
Really?
That's what it feels like.
They've taken in 7 from the fires. 4 died, and then this morning, Char did too.
I really believe that every single koala we can save is vital.
But this is one you couldn't.
That's right.
They couldn't save Sooty either, and are struggling now to save Smolder and Flash.
If you think it's hard to imagine Australia without imagining a koala, well, that is a distinct possibility for the future, that they are so under threat from a loss of habitat and now this season's wildfires that in some areas, a third of their habitat has disappeared, and thousands of them have been killed.
I'm disgusted by it. And
Ron Land runs Port Stevens Koalas, a rescue organization now building a koala refuge and hospital as the species faces extreme fire and habitat threats.
It's killing koalas. It's not only killing koalas, it's killing just about every other piece of the Australian wildlife base.
Prolonged drought has also dangerously dehydrated koalas across the country like Howie. It's at the point where saving just one more koala is critical. David Common, CBC News, Port Stevens, Australia.
Time for a quick break. The Moment is next. Tonight, new Canadians get a lesson on the ice from an NHL pro. We're back after this.
Download today. CBC Listen. Hear it all here.
If this is your first winter in Canada, you may be in for a shock, especially in Winnipeg, where this weekend it was -20. But new Canadians are turning to hockey to embrace the cold. Every year, Camp Manitou runs a program that welcomes new Canadians with free skating lessons, and they got a high-profile teacher, Winnipeg Jets defenseman Josh Morrissey. That first skate is our moment.
I really don't like it. I'm feeling scared. I'm always falling down.
It's exciting. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet some really cool people, and it's a fun day.
You get to learn new tricks, and you also get to exercise, and it's fun.
Sort of welcome them to Canada, and obviously an outdoor rink, I guess, and -20 is a pretty good welcome to Winnipeg. So it's definitely a lot of fun.
Egypt was really hot. You couldn't feel the cold, and Canada's like things that you never knew, you never saw before. You're trying different things, and it's cold, and I like the cold a little.
Having the opportunity to get involved in sports and make new friends and be a part of a team, I feel like that's something that everyone, you can learn so much from that and make some great friendships.
So great for everybody who was there, for Josh Morrissey, for the NHL. If only there had been something like that when I was a kid. Watching that tape reminded me of a trip my dad and I made to Canadian Tire for my first set of hockey equipment. And I remember when the sales clerk said, "And you'll need a garter, right?" And we're like, "Huh? What? Garter?" But anyway, eventually did play and skated kind of the way the people in that video skated. Anyway, that is the National for January the 12th. Good night.